tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Hey friends, what's poppin'? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that. Welcome back to, of course, Chelsea News, the daily series here on the channel where I reflect on what's being said about Chelsea, giving you my thoughts, feelings and opinions on it for whatever that's worth. More importantly, asking for yours. Today we're citing a few articles, a couple from the Evening Standard, Nizar Kinsella, talking about the Enzo Fernandez absence. Chelsea looking at a new striker. No, not Osimhen, not Ivan Toney. Certainly a very, very informed sporting striker. Matt Law interviewed the surgeon that did Reece James's hamstring surgery and is giving some really positive feedback, news for us Chelsea and indeed England fans. Strap yourselves in, do get comfortable, pour yourselves a drink, friend. If you want to support this content here on Football Therapy, you are most welcome to. All you got to do is like, subscribe. If you choose to subscribe, do hit that bell notifications icon to make sure you get notified when I upload. Alright then, let's get into it. It's worth saying, ladies and gentlemen, I'm well aware there's a bit of reverb in here. I've put some more mats down, I've ordered some new soundproofing. What you see behind me is going to be rearranged so the sound quality is better, and I should have I should have fixed the autofocus on the camera here. I actually think it's because I was wearing a cap hat forward, so the depth of my face was different, which was making the focus go a bit weird, you know? Anyway, we're going to talk about this new striker, we're going to talk about the Enzo injury, but let's start talking about Matt Law's article written on Reece James's hamstring injury when he interviewed the surgeon that did the surgery. Chelsea captain Reece James will come back much stronger from surgery on his injured hamstring and will be fit in plenty of time for the European Championships, according to the world-renowned doctor who operated on him this week. Speaking exclusively to Telegraph Sport from his clinic in Turku, Finland, Las Lepanen insisted James will make a full recovery before the Euros and should no longer have the recurring problems on his hamstring in the right leg. Off the bat, incredibly positive news. We were all saying for such a long time, Reece should just go get the surgery. It will be a better long-term investment. Of course, many of us saying this is largely speculative, but it seems like it's the truth and it's the reality. Let's read on. Quote, "We did the operation on his right hamstring in Turku, Finland, and it went very well," said the surgeon. "We made some clinical examinations and thought about the different options, and after careful consideration, we all agreed to do the operation. We are convinced it was the right treatment decision, and we are all now happy we did the right thing. On Friday morning, we made an individual rehabilitation plan for Reece, and now it's time to make a good recovery." He goes on to say, "I'm very convinced that Reece James will be in top shape before the European Championships. Chelsea will decide on how long it takes, but it's more likely we're talking about this kind of period, 3 to 4 months. Really, really positive news. I think the surgeon, you can go read the interview, it's behind a paywall, so I'm gonna leave it there. But the surgeon goes into details of how this was such a good decision, how he will definitely be fit before the Euros. This will come to great news for Reece James. Hopefully, he'll get some playtime in Chelsea colours this season so that Gareth Southgate can see him playing for Chelsea and then therefore call him up for the European Championships, because he's still, you know, taking up a spot in that squad. But Reece will it'll be like music to his ears. Not only that, it's obviously positive for Reece James, Chelsea fans, England fans, but also just for the long term. The surgeon's saying that not only was this the right decision, in hindsight we're very, very happy with how it went. We are convinced this will make him in better shape for long term, as in no recurring injuries, and he's had problem with both his hamstrings, and though they've only operated on one hamstring, the surgeon has explained it will make the other better as well. Hallelujah! Now wrap him up, get Malo Gusto playing a bunch of games, and please, please may this be the last time we really worry about this seriously. Let me know what you think of the Reece James situation. Comment down below. I'll be interested in hearing your thoughts. From one injury to another, let's move on and talk about Enzo Fernandez and try and figure out what's going on with him. Nizar Kinsella right, Chelsea boss Maurizio Pochettino has confirmed that Enzo Fernandez has a hernia and will miss the Christmas Eve match against Wolves. The midfielder was substituted in the 32nd minute of the dramatic Carabao Cup quarter-final win over Newcastle on Tuesday night. At the time, it was previously described as just illness. Fernandez went straight down the tunnel after being withdrawn at Stamford Bridge, only later to re-emerge to watch his teammates triumph on penalties after a late Mykhailo Mudryk equaliser to tee up a two-legged semi-final clash with Middlesbrough in January. Fernandez was pictured crying after the match, but Pochettino has now revealed that the midfielder from Benfica feels fine and will likely miss just one game. Pochettino said this: Enzo is going to be out for the game against Wolverhampton. We are going to see if he can be involved as soon as possible after. You already have the information that it was a hernia and he also didn't feel well. We are going to give treatment to the doctor. I've never had a hernia. Apparently they're very, very painful, kind of gross as well. I guess they can just remove it and then he can get back into the game? I don't really know much about hernias, but I mean, I guess this is better than some form of like long-term groin injury, which was being reported, falsely reported, by Argentinian media, so that's good. Let me know what you think down below. Do you know the recovery time for a hernia? Can a footballer get straight back into the game? Comment down below and let me know your thoughts and feelings on that. Now let's move on, jump into another article from the Zarkin Seller and talk about a double transfer swoop. Of course, we are days away from the transfer window now, so it's heating up. Let's see what it's saying. Chelsea transfer news! Sporting contacted over Ousmane Diomande and Victor Gyökeres in double January deal. Centre-back and a striker. We know we've been looking at both. Could we try and get them both from Sporting? The Chelsea owners have often looked in Portuguese football. Of course, they're looking to buy a Portuguese club. We bought Enzo, of course, from the Portuguese league, and they keep sort of swimming around there, scouting all over the gaff. Maybe they see more value there at the moment. Chelsea have made contact with Sporting over a deal for defender Ousmane Diomande as they explore centre-back reinforcements in January. The 20-year-old Ivorian has been identified by Chelsea as one of their primary transfer targets, with striker options also being discussed internally. Sporting have knocked back an initial inquiry from the Blues for Diomande, insisting they will only sell him for the full £69 million release clause. Ooh, that's Wesley Fofana money. And you know me, ladies and gentlemen, I think he's top of the tree for young centre-back talent. Is this guy worth it? Diomande has been virtually and ever present for Sporting since joining from Midtjylland last January, helping them to the top of the Portuguese table ahead of rivals Benfica and Porto. His former club Midtjylland is owed 20% of any sale profit Sporting make from a future transfer, further complicating attempts to reduce the transfer fee. Chelsea want to sign another young central defender despite having Levi Colwill, Benoit Badiashile, Axel Disasi, Wesley Fofana, Trevoh Chalobah and Thiago Silva on the books. Well, we can talk about those last two. You know, Thiago Silva is absolutely in his last months of his Chelsea career. I think we can all agree on that. And Trevoh Chalobah, that's how you say his name, is he's constantly been touted for a move. So that's kind of 2 out, 1 in, as we're all saying here on the channel. Kind of makes sense. Let's move on and find out about this striker. Chelsea have also inquired over a deal for Sporting striker Victor Gyökeres. The former Brighton and Coventry City target man has 17 goals and 8 assists in the first 20 matches this season for Sporting. I mean, 25 goal involvements in 20 games. I don't care what league you're playing in. Well, I do actually, but that's very, very strong. Sporting are again reluctant to sell their star forward and have demanded interested clubs pay the full £87 million release clause. Yeah, a lot of people might think long term, because if you think like Darwin Núñez cost like that €100 million, didn't he, same money, and he came from Portuguese football. Of course, we know the likes of Antony cost way too much money. Maybe this guy. I mean, Antony coming from Ajax never had numbers to begin with, so why Man United paid that much for him is mental. It's purely on Erik ten Hag just being his old boy. That's mental to me. But this guy has got the numbers, kind of like how Darwin Núñez had in Portuguese football. Do you really want to go €100 million? I mean, it does look like the actual figure for Victor Osimhen is going to be about €130 million. Do you pay the extra €30 million for Victor Osimhen, who's a bit older? I don't know. Chelsea have alternative forward options, including Napoli's Victor Osimhen, Brentford's Ivan Toney, and Club Brugge's Antonio Nusa. Yeah, of course, Nusa is an 18-year-old wide forward. I don't think that's the solution for the problem we're talking about right now in terms of just clinical, goal return and probably a little bit more seniority up front. Yeah. Pochettino may also enter the market for a midfielder, but that is considered a lower priority than signing a forward or a defender. Pochettino could use 19-year-old midfielder Andre Santos instead, as he is expected to be recalled from his disappointing loan spell at Nottingham Forest. It does make you wonder, of course, Nuno Espirito Santo is now coming into Nottingham Forest. Could he look to Andre Santos and be like, don't go anywhere, kid. Let me try and play you as well. And isn't Nuno Espirito Santo Portuguese? Couldn't he speak Portuguese to Santos, get a rapport relationship with him? I'm kind of just doing guesswork here. Look, Andre Santos is meant to be an absolute worldie in the midfield. Of course, we know he was amazing for his club, and he was amazing in the summer for the Under-20 South American Championships, which he led Brazil to win. He captained Brazil to win, but I think was joint top goal scorer despite being a central midfielder, not even an attacking midfielder. This kid's a little bit special. He's been in the Premier League for a few months now. He's would have settled a little bit. Despite being very young, he's got a wife and support network. Maybe coming back to Chelsea, he'll play? Maybe. But it's, when you haven't you saw Pochettino's rant about Romeo Lavia, and if you haven't heard my opinion on that yet, do go watch my previous upload. I speak about that a lot. Pochettino clearly doesn't just throw players in who are like, they're technically not injured now, fit, I'll just chuck them in the Chelsea team. No, he likes to be very, very meticulously well drilled. Kind of the opposite of what Graham Potter was at the end. Do you remember Graham Potter was kind of just panicking and changing the formation and personnel all the time towards the end and just lost a grip on reality at Chelsea? Pochettino has a firm grip on what he wants and he's very meticulous, so I doubt he's just the kind of guy to keep slam dunking young midfielders into his starting lineup. He certainly feels that way about Romeo Lavia, despite Lavia being physically fit now. So it's very, very interesting indeed, but by all accounts, like Nizar writes there, it's not top of the tree in terms of priority at the moment, a midfielder. Now, we'll see what happens there, but I want to talk to you guys about striker, because I think we will sign a young centre-back. I'd love for us to sign Mark Guehi back. I think he's excellent. He's one of the sort of bright elements of Crystal Palace at the moment. I know they got Elise as well, but we can forget about that. We got Cole Palmer. Everything worked out all right with that. I do see a young, good centre-back coming in. Hopefully, whoever comes in as a player, that the Chelsea manager Pochettino has fully given its blessing for this player. That's really, really important, I think, now. But besides that, a striker, everyone's talking about Chelsea needing a striker. Victor Osimhen, he went on the John Obi Mikel podcast and sort of joked around about joining Chelsea. Arsenal want him. Man United still might be looking at him despite, that massive outlay they spent on Rasmus Højlund, who's still really like a raw backup striker that needs to develop. He's a great player, Højlund. I know people banter him for not scoring yet. But in terms, I compare him a lot to Mykhailo Mudryk personally in terms of just this really young, raw potential attacking ability. But you can't rely on him. So they may look for a senior striker as well. So Osimhen could go to a bunch of clubs, but, this guy Victor from Sporting, scoring a lot of goals, I know he's come from Brighton and Coventry, and that's not so sexy, but Ivan Toney's being linked to, a massive, massive move. And was he at Peterborough before Brentford? I don't know. There is this route, and he's a young player. There probably is more value in the Portuguese league than we think. Anyway, I wanted to put it out to you guys, so let me know what you think. Comment down below. I look forward to learning your thoughts and insights on these players and these stories. Again, if you want to support the content, you're welcome to simply by liking and subscribing. Why not share as well? Share the video. And if you want, you can follow me on social media, Instagram, @FootballYannick. Alright guys, I will see you back here after Chelsea's hopefully win against Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Premier League tomorrow. So keep it locked and turn that bell on. Peace.